Are the AI companions the future? This is what I'm trying to answer during this video. What I'm doing here is sharing my thoughts about, but also some of my concern. So what is happening here is that through how the society is developing, we are feel more and more isolated. Okay, this social network, like everybody knows, this social network that is trying to connect us, in reality is dividing us. Okay, and that is a common known problem. But now it's we start to see the consequence in a big way. Okay, so we see a lot of uh, problem with the nativity, so there is less kids around. The adult are having the young adult are having less sex than before. Now there is a kind of direction towards that is clear now, that we are kind of getting more and more isolated, where we struggle more and more in creating this social connection that is needed to build relationship, family, and so on. So now we see. I mean, we all know. Okay? I don't wanna explain what's going on that part. We all know, and what is also happening, and this is again, it's not for everybody. But it's a massive trend. It's a huge trend, and this trend is growing. Okay, so it's not something that it doesn't touch me, so it doesn't exist. No, if you actually watch this, probably it's touching you. Okay, in the sense we are let's analyze my thinking. Okay, so what is happening is that because we spend more time on our own, what is also happening is that we are less flexible in the social friction. So meaning I'm not that interested in listening someone else's idea, opinion, life, born in small talk. I don't care. Okay, so there is that aspect that is growing. Plus, when you think about, okay, I'm gonna spend some time with my friends, then it's say, okay, but then they want to do something that I'm not interested. They want to do things that I don't like, that I'm not interested doing with them, and so on. Okay, that after a few minutes, sometimes I'm gonna get bored because I want to do something else. Okay, I build my life that is much more entertaining, much more connected to what I like and enjoy, and so on. So because of this reason, because we live in such a comfortable environment, now we don't need much bending ourselves, our interests, our way of life to actually meet other people. And now we have AI. Okay, we saw already a lot of relationship. I think someone married an AI character. So what is going on here? So AI in somehow not the AI that we have today, okay, because it's not ready, but somehow it looks like okay, this is it's not the perfect answer in the sense human will need another human to make to grow a family and so on. So it's a mass is necessary, but at the same time sounds like the perfect answer for this storm, in the sense, okay, now I can build my companion, my friend, AI, whatever, and in a way that I want, and that AI will never, say, let's do something that I don't want. Okay, you might say, but I can just say no. Okay, and it's gonna be fine. So that in some way is really attractive, and therefore it's gonna happen. Okay, because it resolve somehow a problem, which is not a healthy problem and is not a healthy solution from my point of view. But the problem is there, and the next step is to resolve the problem, and the AI will be the best way. I kind of don't want to contrast these two things. Okay, it's the best unhealthy way to resolve the problem. Okay, so it should be resolved through removing all these probably we can say comforts, okay, that we create around us, so we find the strengths actually to go out and meet people and try to create an environment that is fun together. But because we do now in the opposite way, it's the AI companion is going to happen. Okay, in somehow we can say it's already happening. The point here is it's happening for a specific class of people. At the moment, AI, it's this AI companion that we see use system to trap the user. So it's kind of abusive relationship basically, and therefore it cannot be considered a valuable alternative. Okay, those AI that we have today, they are not good enough for doing what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is quality friendship and relationship. And again, I don't know, I feel like I need to repeat this. I don't think it's the correct direction, but it's the direction that we are going. So if we explore this direction where we are going, and how can we do it in a way that it's somehow it's not damaging us too much, okay? And can happen in a few ways. One, of course, create an extra level of comfort. Okay, so this is create an extra level of comfort. So means now we have someone to talk with. Okay, and therefore it's much better than stay alone. So stay alone means you are in your mind, or because you don't want to stay in your mind, you are doom scrolling, watching video, doing things that distract you. Basically, you get entertained by outside apps and software and so on to stay entertained and distracted by yourself. Now you add this AI companion, and now you have someone to talk with. Now you can share things together and so on. Now you can build this AI in a way that it's allow you to grow your connection and somehow push you to actually go outside your comfort zone. That doesn't mean that you are it's and somehow is a fake companion that is just gonna push you outside, but it's still a companion, still gonna be part of your life, your daily entertainment and so on, but also as another agenda, okay, which is the one to grow your social network in the sense social net or human network of going out and meeting people and so on. uh, so with that in mind, with that objective in mind, what we have, at least we cover two things. Okay, being alone, it's dangerous. So we can have it's dangerous in the sense you create your own bubble, you create your own comfort zone that is become extremely harder and harder to get out of it. So you can use an AI to break that thing, okay, has a mind to interact with, challenge your opinion, create elements of pleasure and friction at the same time, okay? Because it's pleasant to interact with someone else, to think with another mind, okay? At the same time, that is pleasant. At the same time, the action itself create a friction in the sense that you cannot be always right, AI won't be always right, and therefore you need to, there is the friction of understanding each other, explaining and so on, which is can be done in a fun way. Now, in at the moment, it's getting harder because I'm in my bubble, you are in your bubble. Okay, so our bubble meet, they're not compatible, and they're never gonna be compatible. Okay, yeah, because I'm busy in my life, you're busy with yours. We schedule our day in a sense that we are always busy. Okay, we always have something to do. Okay, I got a movie night, I got these other things, I need to do some work or whatever. Okay, I got the video game tournament with my friends or whatever. Okay, so we build our lives that are busy. So we are in our bubble, comfortable, love it, and so on. Now we meet someone else in a different bubble. Of course, it's not compatible. Okay, so and just because we are too optimized. So if we think about how used to be, so we were completely not optimized. Okay, was much more by chance we would meet because there were no alternatives. Okay, so as soon as you, I mean, it's I don't wanna talk like the past was the correct thing, okay? But there was some elements that were more healthy, more like human-like. So if I think about, for example, for good part of between 2000 and 2010, I was living in a specific area of London. Then I moved in a different area. But for that, it's almost 10 years, I was living in that specific area that is called Shoreditch, okay? And in that area, at that time, was really a place for fashion design. There was the fashion model, for example. There was a lot of recording studios. So a lot of creativity was happening there. There was a lot of clubs doing, alternative, like not mainstream clubs, okay? More looking for bands that would play their own music every day, and DJ that would play their own new underground stuff and so on. So there was a lot of creativity happening there, but also there was a sort of community, because a lot of artists would be living there, and we would go out without even telling us, let's meet. Okay, you would go out in the club and you would meet your friends. You would go to the pub and would meet the other ones. Okay, so it was a kind of random meeting and socializing. And because we didn't have the internet that we have today, the streaming stuff and video games and so on, what is happening is, it's there. If you wanted to be entertained, you needed to go out your place. Okay, you can stay home, play your instrument and so on, but then at one point you would say, okay, let's go out, and then you would meet people. Now, this is still possible. Okay, in some city, in some town, in smaller places, it's still possible. But what is happening, because of the financial system, those we have places are breaking apart, okay, and people are clustering, not for interests but for financial. Okay, financial in the sense, can I afford to live there? And that is what somehow define an area, is the cost of the rent, the cost of buying a house, and it's not an area for a kind of interest. There are still some areas that are like this. London is full of it, in the sense there are sometimes it's not really interested by its culture. So there is maybe some people that from a part of the world that were somehow they went to live there. There is one that is extremely famous, that is Brixton, okay, was basically the biggest concentration of Jamaican people outside Jamaica were living in there. Now even Brixton is breaking apart, but there were cluster of sometimes culture, sometimes interests. Okay, so Shoreditch art, Brixton again, Jamaica culture, where would be amazing when you go there. Amazing clubs, amazing restaurants, amazing people. So it was just amazing to go there. Okay, but there is London is full of those niches that slowly they're breaking apart. Okay, because the only thing that keeps them together is the price. So now Brixton has become expensive, and a lot of people needs to move out. Okay, and go to other area, and because the only thing that you're looking is the price to be able to live, then people get divided. Okay, so a lot of things are happening, and that is the weird direction we are going with society. We have not a strategy to build back communities. Okay, because there's always an economic incentive somewhere, or political incentives to do things, and there is no, instead, following a culture, following the human interest, and so on. That is breaking us apart, and therefore it's at the moment we go back to our own things. Okay, we close ourselves in our own room. There are people that are different, because there are some really extroverted people that they can't do this. Okay, so they need to socialize. They have this call for socialization, so they go out, and then and because they go out they have a life, and because they have a life they stream it, and then they show the beautiful thing that they can do. Okay, and the people that are more introverted, they stay home and look at this and say, oh, look, this is amazing, I love this one, and we live our life through other people. So this is an interesting phenomenon. At the same time, it's this sharing of living experience. Okay, and the demand is there. Okay, that makes you think. Okay, if there is a demand for watching someone else living, why is that? Okay, and it's because the people that are watching are not doing. They're not, let's say, living. Okay, they're watching living. So now I don't know in which part of this of the world of world you are, in the sense, for example, just to make to share myself. Okay, so I of course, like I said, I came from. I'm 53 years old, I believe. So I grew up most of my life without the mobile phone and internet. Okay, now it's the second half was. With technology, I'm one that really push into technology, so I'm an early adopter of any new technology, basically. Therefore, I learn and share and understand it, and I use this new technology from the beginning. So I see the problem earlier than maybe the most of people. So I start seeing this using of social network as a way to create your virtual identity, and the problem and the possibility of building a virtual identity. Then this virtual identity become connected to your name through Facebook. Okay, so now it's not an avatar that can be anything. Okay, it's an avatar of yourself. So you start to uh, curate your identity online. This curation of identity online brings a disconnection between the identity online and the identity offline. Okay, so as you start curating the one online, that is much easier. Okay, you do a photo, you Photoshop a photo, you create whatever. Okay, so you need just to look amazing in a specific place for just a fraction of a second to take that photo. Okay, so now you create this virtual identity that is disconnected of yours. And now yours is much more fragile for this reason, because it's not as cool, it's not as beautiful, it's not as amazing as the virtual one. So now we have another level of friction to actually go out and interact with people, because now people know our virtual identity and they think they're going to meet the virtual identity. And the same is for the other side. Okay, so two virtual identity that they talk on a daily basis, but then the reality they are different. Okay, so now meeting in the reality is gonna be like a shock. This person is not gonna like me because I'm not the virtual person, and vice versa. Okay, so what shall we do here? Okay, first create a virtual identity that is as close as possible to yours. Okay, you make it a little bit better. Okay, because a little bit better is acceptable. But if you make it so distant from the reality, then it's a problem. You build yourself a problem. So go back to that thing. Now there is another problem, okay, because the problem never ends. Okay, so now we are you're competing with your virtual identity that is not as good as the fake virtual identity of others. And therefore you feel like, okay, these people are living this amazing life. Look at me, I'm not living an amazing life. And that is depressing. Okay, but the problem here is the reality is what counts. Okay, so while you're showing your reality, you're gonna in somehow connect with other people that are the same. Those are willing to connect, because the one that share this impossible life, okay, this extremely curated, amazing, beautiful, life that seems like living in a movie. Okay, and accept this, that some people live like this. Okay, but the majority are not. So the people that actually share the truth, they are more willing to connect with other people that share the truth. Okay, so it's meeting in present would be not a shock. So now, for example, you see me completely raw, unedited, and unprocessed. This is the real me. Okay, so when you meet me, you will see this. There's no gap. There's nothing different between who I am online and who I am in person. So that is the what we need to start doing, start learning to do. Okay, and unfortunately, the the people that needs this the most are the ones that are gonna find more resistant to this problem. Okay, because who needs the most are the younger people, because they never experienced this. Okay, they always create an identity that was curated. So maybe even this idea that I'm saying is like, what? It's they my I don't know. Actually, I would like, if you're a young person watching this, let me know in the comment below. Do you realize? Do you see a different identity, or for you it's one? You see this online and present identity like one single identity. How do you think about this reality? How do you think about this problem that I'm sharing? Because that is the thing. Okay, from my perspective, I see this is what I see from where I am, from the history of growing this technology. But what's the perspective of those younger generation that never saw this building? They're always been in there. Okay, they've been there because the parents take photos of when they were little and grew up. They have now an album of photo of the history of their life that we older people we never had. So there is a lot of elements here interacting, and at the moment those elements tell me that the next step, the most likely next step would be that we will build a really good AI companion, and those at one point will be embodied inside the robots, and those robots will be our future best friend. That is the direction where we are going. It's on one side is really scary. On the other, I think it might be unavoidable, but also necessary, because we are getting so trapped inside this our world that maybe the AI can be the thing that help us to reconnect with the reality. So I'm mix of optimistic and pessimistic in this, but I think that is the thinking that we need to do. Understand, if this is the direction, how can I, somehow guide my path? Okay, because now I'm comfortable in this direction. I don't want to get out. I enjoy my life. I enjoy whatever. Okay, but then you have a part of you that is living the perfect life. Okay, the most comfortable life you can, and then there is something missing. Okay, the feeling of yeah, but it's okay. It's this loneliness is real. You get used to it, you learn how to deal with it, you are at the end you're entertained, you think like I got those online social friends. So there is element that keep us really comfortable in their reality, and getting out, it's getting harder and harder. So what to do today is, I mean, it's each one of us needs to make this decision. First of all, get aware about reality, write it down. Okay, try to write your emotion. How do you feel about the life that you are living now? Okay, what is you think is missing? Try to write it down, but outside, get like a pen and paper, write it down outside from the technology. Okay, and that process, I know that say, why you need to write it down on pen and paper? Because the process itself is different. Okay, it's a much slower process, and I'm not gonna talk about this process in this video. Okay, but trust me, it's something that I discovered lately. Okay, I've always been working on computer and audio and using AI and so on. So for me, writing pen and paper is something new that I felt like needed because of the friction of reality. Okay, the online world have a different speed. So what I think we need now is to slow down a little bit, add some physical friction, real problem, and in that reality, we need to do our thinking. And you see now I'm a door. Okay, so nature, here I do my thinking in the silence of nature. that is what I think each one of us should start doing more and more. So write down your thoughts and see and find your own solution, find your own balance. Try to challenge some assumption that you have, some your comfort zone, and ask yourself, what do you need? I want to end myself. I never end. Okay, there's one more thing I want to say. So the other day I was writing my diary. Okay, and I watched this podcast that was talking about the collecting people, in the sense, what are the people that you find so amazing, that's so special, that you need to have in your life. And then I was kind of thinking, this person was talking about in the business, okay, but for me it was kind of the same. Let's look at the as a friends, as a people to be part of my life. And I started writing a few names, and I realized there were not many. Okay, and make me in somehow think about this. What's I mean, there are less and less people that I'm interested to have in my life, and that is in somehow is a signal. Okay, is a signal of this wall that we are building. That we, at least let's call about me. I'm losing the ability to recognize other people quality. I'm not willing to change, to not to change even myself, to change my reality, to accept other people in it. So what I did, I wrote this list, and then I call one of them. Okay, one of them in this list that I think she should be in my life. Uh, of course, she lives in the other part of the world, so it's never gonna happen. But should be in my life in the sense of. Uh, I'm not saying as I'm interested in uh, in a relationship. It's more, I don't even know how it should work. Okay, but that is the thing. Okay, it's become unclear even how a friendship should work. So I, I, I don't know. This is I don't know. There is something there. I'm gonna discover and still keep thinking and keep reflecting on this, because there is something weird. It's happening in our life. Okay, like I said, I'm a person that experiment a lot. I experiment with my own life. Okay, I did some weird weird choice in my life, just to follow by instinct. So now, as an instinct, what I'm doing, I'm spending a lot of time on my own, and with my dog. Okay, so my reality, I love it. Okay, I love that I can stay all day with my dog. Okay, love it. At the same time, there's something missing. So that thing missing is human connection. But then, then all those elements that I share in the video, there's something, there's something that is difficult to break my reality, so I can go into someone else. And this other person, so the problem is that also the other person need to break their reality and accept that there's gonna be friction elements that they need to allow to a connection to really happen. And I'm struggling, feeling that I would do it. So I'm not even pretending that someone else would do it. And that is where we are. We are in a scenario where we don't even want to change our reality, so we can interact with others in an honest and deep way. Anyway, this is my sharing. Okay, I share this because I think those people that will watch, they will think, okay, this is happening to in a way or another to all of us. Uh, some are reflecting on it, some are accepting, some are ignoring, some go to to break down and a healthy lifestyle. Fortunately, I try to keep a healthy lifestyle and follow my what my body is asking me to do. Uh, but doesn't solve the problem. So So I'm not here to give you a solution because I haven't solved it myself. I'm here to give you my perspective, to think out loud, so you can see this problem from another human. Yeah, that's all I want to share. So if you want to share your story, if you want to share anything, let me know. I'm curious. I'm really, because again, this is me, my life, my bubble. Okay, what is in your life, in your bubble? So try to break a little bit and leave a comment below. Okay, thanks for staying until now. Like and subscribe, and see you on the next video.